Alright guys, want to see my monster? Alright, Tram Doctor's gonna show his monster. Oh, wait a minute. Not that monster, I'm sorry. How about this monster? Anyway, been working on a Maco KW for a while. Actually, I had another one, which was a mobile one that didn't have a base power supply that I was working on, and so I bought this one because the mobile one had some wiring that was kind of funky, and I didn't know what went where, and they got some schematics on CB Tricks, but it's not complete. The one on CB Tricks has the power supply and the wiring for a Maco 750, and it just says that the Maco KW uses 2 transformers, but I found that not to be the case as far as the wiring goes. You know, it does use 2 transformers, this Maco KW here, but the 2 are in series, not parallel. They're both like 300 volt transformers, get about 425 DC out of each transformer, and they put them on top of each other in series. It's unusual for an amp company to do that, but one of the reasons is you can get more power out of the same size transformer when it puts out a lower voltage. That's why Heathkit SB220 uses a voltage doubler in a small transformer, because they get more power out the small one when it does lower voltage. Same with this. But anyway, I reverse engineered it since I had one, and I got it working, so we're sure that the schematic is right that I made, because it's working good, at least to me. So this is the schematic I made of it by reverse engineering, at least the one I had. That's the pin out. It's got an 8-pin octal plug that connects the power supply to the amplifier. So anyway, I guess enough of that. Let's get back to the amp. This is, I guess, the newer or updated version. The original one had you see that empty socket there. I'm going to be careful because this amp is on and it's live. That's high voltage on top. It uses bias to cut off the high voltage, so the high voltage is applied to the tubes. But anyway, back to it. The original one had 1 driving 3 driving 8 M2057 tubes. But I guess as radios, you know, got more power and, you know, high powered radios, the later version, which this is, and this is original, they changed it to just 3 driving 8, and they got rid of the pre-driver tube, the 1 driving 3 driving 8. So it's just 3 driving 8. They didn't change anything else I see with the mod. Here's the power supply with the, those transformers are big and heavy. It's a very healthy power supply to this thing. I've actually seen 3 500Z amps dual that didn't have this much weight or power supply to them. So very healthy power supply to run this amp. Over here you have the filament and the low voltage transformer. Over here is separate. The only voltages that the power supply here produces is the high voltage, you know, high voltage and ground. That's all that comes from this, and it actually plugs in here, and then it runs the AC for the low voltage transformer over here too, but just high voltage and ground from the separate power supply on it. So we're gonna get to it in a second. We're just gonna key down the radio at first. We're gonna go over here to the 20 watt scale and put it on average, and we're gonna put the radio into it in a second. But well, we got the amp on, that's why it keyed in the corner there. Thought we were on standby. Oh good, we didn't break the meter. Okay, 3 watts, 1 to 5. We got a bunch of stuff in line too. The JB12, the Maco, a watt meter, a preamp. So it's sucking down the watts a little bit with all that junk in line. But anyway, that's all we're doing is 3 watts. Swing to 5. It might do 8 or 10 peak. audio. Actually about 11 peak. That's all the radio's doing. And then we're gonna do the JB12 with the Maco still on standby. This is just turning a little JB12 modulator on, and we got it back down too. So we're on the 200 watt scale, and the JB12 is dead keying about 7. Audio. Talking about 18. Whistling about 25, and last peak. Audio. This 30 watts peak. Audio. So anyway, we're gonna turn the JB12 off, so just the radio, and go to the 2000 watt scale and take it off a peak, and hopefully everything's still tuned up. And by the way, the switches are main power, just a power light, high and low. Oh, and one thing about the high and low, when you're on low, you just run it on one transformer. Remember I said they're in series, so one transformer is doing about 500 volts, and then on high it's running off both in series, and on high you got them both, you know, together, so you're doing about 1,000, actually a little less, but that's the way the low side works. So on low with 500 volts going to all the tubes, it only does about 300, but we're not going to demo that. And then over here you got the standby, and this switch is a little different. Standby is in the middle, and then up is operate with the preamp on, and then down is operate with the preamp off, the way that works. So, and then last over here we got the SSB. All that does is add a delay to the relay. It has nothing to do with the power. Standard tuning load, modulation light. Over here is the driver tune. And then underneath, this one does have an input tune, but since it's live and it's on and it's hot, we're not gonna bother to show that. But there is an input tuning coil underneath for this, and it does have a tuned input for it. So anyway, 2000 watt scale on average. Let's get to it with just a little 3 watt radio. So we're just dead keying 300 watts audio. Talking about 550. Hello. Audio. Whistling about 800 on average bird watts with a radio going into it. And remember, this one doesn't have that pre-driver tube, so we're not kicking it hard at all right now. And on peak, audio. Hello. That's not bad peak watts, right? Big difference between peak and average. Hello. And again, that's just a radio. Hello. And last, we just gonna kick the little JB12 on. Yeah, we'll leave it on peak. Hello. Audio. Hello. Audio. Hello. Audio. Talking about 1650. Hello. Again, just 30 watts going into it, and this one without the pre-driver tube. Not kicking it hard at all. So that's it of this Maco KW recapped. Good tubes in it, redone. Got rid of my hum and that feedback that I was getting earlier. Remember I did a video earlier where I was showing the peak watts and the dead key watts were different. As you can see here, with the dead key watts that low, remember the JB12's on, you can see that dead key watts and peak watts are way the way they're supposed to be. No harmonic and no AC hum, no buzzing, no nothing. Just a little Maco KW doing what it's supposed to do with the little JB12, 30 peak watts going into it, not kicking it hard at all. Alright, no hiccups, no nothing. That's it for this one. Into a dummy load, by the way. Thai KW dummy load up there that silver thing, if you can see it there. And then I said it's tune input. That's the tune input SWR. With the tune input. Okay, that's it for this one. Audio. Bye.